Hello, and welcome to the D3 podcast. This is your host, Matt, joined as always by Sam and Kevin. How's it going, boys?
It's going.
In a minute.
Nice to be back. It's nice to be back. I've been gone for so long, and my house doesn't look like a haunted house anymore, so that's good.
I believe our last recording was actually 1 month ago. So
It was. Wait,
yeah, it was 1 month ago, and that was not without Matt. So that was like it's been like 5-6 weeks without Matt. So
welcome. Well, you know what? We got what you guys wanted. We're back, back again. Shady's back, and you may in fact tell a friend. So we got some.
This is where I bring in Rondo, a certified lover boy at this point.
So that's how we stop. That's how we start or stop the show completely. Season 2, last season. Sorry, we're like a really good anime that should never have stopped after season 1. All right, so we got some updates for you guys. Ben Simmons, he is not going to training camp at the 76ers. I don't really think this is much of a shock to any of us here. We know that he's been wanting to get out of there probably around mid-season to end of season. It still does say a lot that he refuses to go to training camp. Embiid is denying the rift with him and Simmons. Why don't we start from the most hype that we can, which is him getting traded. Sam, what team do you think is going to go for him?
Look, Ben Simmons is signed with a certain agency, possibly affiliated with LeBron James.
Oh.
All right. I'm just saying, signed with Clutch. You never know. I mean, they got the assets now, right? They're all old assets, but like at this point, Philly will just take anything because I don't think there's much value to Ben Simmons. I don't know how long they're going to wait. I mean, we saw with the whole James Harden trade, who we thought was really good, and the Rockets got really nothing out of that trade, in my opinion. I guess they still, quote unquote, still won at some point, but I don't think they won personally. But I think
I was going to say, pull up the clip of John just like completely roasting the shit out of that Houston Rockets trade. Pull that up.
I know it was horrendous, but I think Simmons. There's a lot of denials all around the league. I know Golden State said they have not had any discussions about it. Sacramento also fell off. Ben Simmons did say that he had 3 teams, particularly on the West Coast, that he wanted to be with. Probably 2 of them being the Clippers or Lakers, or sorry, Los Angeles, and then the other one having to be Sacramento. You're down to like 2 teams left, and I don't think they're interested at all. Maybe it's Portland. I think Portland's the most realistic trade at this point to go for Damian Lillard and just rebuild whatever is left of Portland at this point. I just know Portland got a bunch of trees. That's what they're good for now.
Dame going to the 76ers. Do you think, really quickly, Kevin, do you think the 76ers can fuck that up if Dame actually went to the Sixers? Do you think they would still lose in the playoffs?
I think they would be better than they were last year, but I think they would still fuck it up.
They would find a way. Find a way.
I think that organization does not currently have the potential to actually get to the finals and win at all.
Yeah.
I was just watching.
Kevin, what, Sam?
I was watching the Philly-Atlanta series yesterday, and it was 2-2, and Philly was up by 25, about nearly halfway through the third quarter, and they lost by 2 to the Hawks, and I was like, this is a perfect example of how, no matter how good defense you are, you really still can't stop a deep shooter, and I think that's what the flaw is here, is that none of these guys can actually play real defense.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Simmons got schooled. Like, Trae Young really got past Ben Simmons at this point, and if your defense is broken, then you have no offensive skill set, then at what point are you on the court at this point? I mean, like, I think he has so much potential. Like, it's like an unreal amount of potential. Like, it's such a great IQ, but I don't know what the blockage is with his shooting.
Kevin, where do you want to see Ben Simmons go?
I think, like we were kind of saying, I think the Lakers is kind of an okay spot for him. I'm not all hype. Lakers hype. I think
I'm just giving you shit, man.
I think the Lakers need youth. They have an average age of like 34 right now in their roster. It's bad. So I think they could use youth even in Ben Simmons. I think just having him come off the bench might be good. Otherwise, I don't really know. He's not going to fit in anywhere right away. He's got to go somewhere where he can grow and somewhere like that he can learn to be a better player because he's not, like Sam said, like he has potential, but he's just not there yet. And so he needs to find somewhere where he fits. And
I think he needs to go to somewhere that specializes in small ball, and he's got to be like the 5.
so you're saying the Bulls.
No, I'm
7-footer.
I can't do that because
You have money. You don't have any more money.
yeah, you know, we're already low on money, and like you would probably have to end up trading almost every single asset. Well, not every single asset, but a lot of them for what we got on this offseason. And I kind of just don't want to touch that team right now. I think they're good where they're at. I don't want to. John and I are going to be seeing all the really, really good games for the Bulls, which I'm super excited about. I don't want to see Ben Simmons play in the Chicago jersey right now. Maybe if he works on his shooting, then we can talk. But no. In really just mediocre news, LaMarcus Aldridge comes out of retirement to rejoin the Nets.
So much hate. Says it old. Talks about a 35-year-old, and he's like, man, this guy's just absolute piece of trash at this point. Waste almost at this existence. Man, wow. So much.
I'm just like, why? Like, why? What's the point? I know he retired early because of a health issue, but he probably should have just stayed in retirement.
Yeah, I think when he retired, people were like, "Oh man, that sucks." I hope you get better health wise, and it doesn't impact you too much. But then the rest of the NBA just went on, and no one batted an eye that LaMarcus Aldridge retired.
It did nothing. It did nothing at all for the Nets. With that being said, really quickly, guys, do we see this as a plus or a minus for the Nets roster going into the year? Sam.
I think it's an obvious plus. I mean, you can't it's not like it's bad. It's not like a horrendous. This guy's an all-star talent. Still realistically, he still can get you 14 and 10, in my opinion. Obviously, the still biggest issue is that
14 and 10 might be a little generous, but
yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying for a team that has very lackluster defense, it doesn't really add anything there. No, it doesn't add anything. Marcus Aldridge is definitely not a defensive threat at all. So I think they're just going purely on that we can score anywhere on the court. We had really deep, we had mid-range, and now we got someone in the paint that can work on the post. And I think that's kind of what they needed, alongside with a Blake Griffin as well. So I mean, I don't think it's a loss. I mean, we can look at this roster real quick. The Nets, look at the starting five: Kyrie, KD, Harden, Griffin, Aldridge. This is an all-star team, actually. The starting line is just pure all-star. This is what you want in 2K, in my opinion. Bench.
Funny enough with 2K, and we'll get into this a little bit later into the show, but Kyrie's not even in close. He's not even in the top 12 for overall rankings. So that's kind of ouch.
I mean, even looking at the bench, Joe Harris, who was a starter, but I mean, obvious reasons, you're not going to be starting with Kyrie, KD, and Harden at this point. Paul Millsap, interesting signing. I think he's trash. Was very useless with the Nuggets, in my opinion. Patty Mills, great steal, in my opinion. I mean, RIP to my boys, but obviously they lost DeAndre Jordan with a trade, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But they got Jahlil Okafor, who was Philly's original pick 3 years ago, I believe, 4 years ago. Tyler Johnson. They got a lot of vets. Sure, they aged as well, but we'll talk about the Lakers in terms of aging. But I think this team got really serious in terms of hey, we're going to win the title this time for sure, regardless if we're injured or not, because we have a very decent, solid bench compared to last year.
That's totally fair. Kevin, speaking of just mediocre signings, DeAndre Jordan is with your wonderful Lake show. Do you is this making you jump for joy, or are you more so just this is dumb?
Because
I mean, it's on the same level as the LaMarcus Aldridge stuff. It's technically it's a net positive, but it's not really good. You know, like it's a net positive in the smallest amount. I guess they could use some bigger guys like they have Marc Gasol and I don't even know who else for like classic centers other than like Davis, but I wouldn't even consider him like a classic center, but I don't know. So yeah, it's a net positive, but is it gonna transform their team? No. I We'll see if he does a whole lot, but I don't know.
I think it's just like at this point, it's kind of just like you just put like a popular name on your roster, and that's all that it really is. I don't see DeAndre Jordan as really a net positive. I don't really see LaMarcus Aldridge. I think LaMarcus Aldridge is a better ad than DeAndre Jordan, and you guys just saw me roast him like 5 minutes ago. So, hey man, I'm happy that you're still on the Lake Show. I guess it's going to be a rough season playing with a bunch of mid-30s guys. Looking at all the young talent that's coming in, and I'm going to give you guys some names that we can go off of. But as far as rookie talent goes, who are we looking at currently for Rookie of the Year? So far, we've got, I'm just going to give you 5 guys. We've got Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, Evan Mobley, Jalen Suggs, and Scotty Barnes. Obviously, big names. I think Cade Cunningham is kind of the most popular one for Rookie of the Year. What do you think, Sam?
I think Cade has to put up basically like a LaMelo year, what we saw. I think that will definitely like solidify his position in terms of being Rookie of the Year. But I think there's a lot of good talent. I mean, I think Jalen Suggs is like an awesome fit with Orlando. I think that's like a great steal, and I think he can perform really well. I mean, even Jalen Green with the Rockets, like there's so much potential to like. These teams are so bad that like really like if you average like 20 points a game, like I'd just be like genuinely impressed. Like wow, you're able to do that kind of stuff. With that being said, I mean Pistons are really bad. That was and they got Jeremy Grant, who's like really bad. Like, who's really not that good. He got a gold medal though. Also, real quick, we didn't give a shout out. U.S. men's basketball, all you, even you, Matt, and maybe John, y'all but Hayden. You're like they lost to Nigeria. They're the worst team ever. Got a gold medal. That's all I know. That's all I
mean, that's fine.
Very, very anti. Our former president would not be happy with you with the way you're going so anti-American in the.
Oh, I know, and you know me, man, middle class white dude, just wants to please him the best that I can.
I know. He saw me, I'd be a napkin to him, so different story. But
that's fucked up.
This is a little awkward, but I think Cade Cunningham is going to be the guy that's gonna carry it for us. We're going to be wrong. Whatever we pick, we're going to be wrong regardless because we're just not that much intellectual.
I mean, I would say the last like 2 years has been pretty like spot on as far as most popular player coming into the season. We had Zion, and then we had LaMelo, and we weren't even sure if LaMelo was even going to get it because of Edwards' finale that he had. But and Ja and whatnot. But like this year, it looks like it's going to be Cade Cunningham's. Kevin, who do you think?
I mean, I think Cade is probably the correct choice, but I do agree with Sam that I think Jalen Green and Jalen Suggs have potential to get there. Especially, I think Jalen Green, just because I think Suggs has more potential to be the star on that team because Orlando's trash. And Houston's trash too, but Houston has a few more tools. And I think that can actually help Jalen Green's case for Rookie of the Year. If he does well and Houston does well with John Wall, with Christian Wood, Kevin Porter Jr., etc., then that's going to make him look a lot better. Whereas I think both Cade and Jalen Suggs are going to be the only good people on their teams.
Yeah, honestly, though, that's totally fair. Moving along, we've got the complete other side of the spectrum. We've got Basketball Hall of Fame nominees, Paul Pierce, Chris Bosh, Chris Webber, and Ben Wallace. I'll go ahead and say that the first thing that stood out to me was Paul Pierce. But after all the shit that he's been doing and the nonsense that he's been spreading, it's kind of hard to see him get in there. I mean, like basketball talent, sure, absolutely, but like PR wise, I don't know, man. I'm kind of low on that. Sam, who do you got?
I feel like the one that sticks out the most, I liked watching, it was Chris Webber. I liked watching him on the Kings, who was phenomenal talent overall. Very notoriously known for calling a timeout during the Final Four tournament without having a timeout left, and they cost him the game because they had to call technical. But it's interesting because you look at all of these, the only person that has more than one title is Chris Bosh. I feel like he had the most like underrated or like very short career, obviously with his health condition. I mean, he had the significant rebound that got Ray Allen the corner three that haunts, haunts my dreams, every night seeing it. I was there, guys. I was there when Chris Paul tipped it to Ray Allen. What a nightmare there was. But I mean, you can't forget Paul Pierce in the wheelchair incident being carried. Like you can't forget that. So legendary. Or the Malice of the Palace with Ben Wallace. Just like we don't remember all those negative things about everyone, but I'm excited for Chris Webber because you can't really put anything on him because he hasn't done anything. He hasn't even won a title. So I mean, at that point, it's like give the guys props.
Yeah, that's fair. Kevin, who are you looking at?
I mean, I think they all really got to be in there. I think they're all like Hall of Fame guys. But I mean, what sticks out in my mind is Chris Bosh, just because like that name almost has the most recognition for me, other than Paul Pierce. I mean, Paul Pierce is top tier, but Chris Bosh he had this short career, like Sam said, or this career that was cut short, I guess. But he's still known to be this like outstanding player and this outstanding big man and everything like that. And I have always had him in my mind a little bit above Paul Pierce on this list, at least. I mean, Ben Wallace and Chris Webber are amazing, but I didn't like. They're not the same name recognition for me in my limited basketball history.
Yeah.
So they're just biased, or I'm just biased to put them a little lower on the totem pole for me, even if they're probably as good, if not arguably better than the other two.
Yeah, that's fair. I have a feeling that it might be Chris Bosh that gets in. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I don't think Chris Bosh should. I think Paul. I mean, no. Just like not this year, at least not this year. He very much so deserves his respect. It's more so the fact that his season was cut, like his entire playing was cut off short. Not his fault, obviously, health reasons. I do think that you're right, Sam. I lean maybe towards Ben Wallace getting it. I think if Paul Pierce wasn't such a dickhole, then he probably would get it. But I don't know. I mean, he is extremely talented. I loved watching him play on the Celtics. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Which of the following players do you guys like want to see come back? We've got Joe Johnson. We've got Isaiah Thomas, Monta Ellis, Greg Oden, Jamal Crawford, Nate Robinson, and Glenn Big Baby Davis. I'll tell you something. I don't want to see any of these guys. I'm done with this. I think if Isaiah Thomas comes back, then I'm going to give him the respect that he deserves because the Celtics did him dirty.
Killed him.
They did him so dirty, and he didn't deserve it. But like looking at these players right now, I just don't want any. I mean, like Nate Robinson could be fun because now he can box apparently, even though he lost his exhibition match.
I don't know if he can box.
Yeah, right. So maybe he can like throw out a couple punches, make like some games entertaining. But other than that, I don't really want to see any of these guys back. I'm kind of done with them. Sam.
Dang, these young bloods, man, they just don't understand. It's always used to be back in 2K6, the good old days. I was watching a lot of the Big Three League. That's where I got this inspiration from. And I don't know if you guys know what the Big Three League is, but it's a bunch of like old retired players that they form basically play 3v3, and they kind of do what they do in the All-Star. I forget the name of that rule that they do, but they play to a certain score, and then they added, so like there's no timer at the end basically. But watching some of it, Joe Johnson back-to-back MVP in this league. So I'm gonna pick Joe Johnson. I think Joe Johnson would be really fun to see. Kind of got thrown the short end of the stick in terms of his NBA career, in my opinion, but I think it'd be really fun. I mean, even the Mavericks and Houston Rockets, they brought Monte Ellis, who used to play on the Warriors, when they beat that really strong Mavs team back in the day. They had brought Isaiah Thomas to work out. They brought Nate Robinson. They brought everyone to work out, because clearly the Mavericks are not a good team, in my opinion. That's a different story. But I don't know. I thought for some reason, man, I thought Big Baby Davis would resonate with you a lot. As being your former NBA champion with the Boston Celtics. Notoriously known as Big Baby because Kevin Garnett made him cry on the bench. What else could you want in a player?
Not that. Listen. Toxic masculinity is a thing, and that can go fuck itself. But I'm kind of over that. Kind of over Glenn Big Baby Davis. I wasn't really a huge fan of him when he was on the Celtics to begin with.
Wow, this is fat. Wow, that's what you're saying.
I know. All right, I get it. It's fine. I was a bigger fan of Isaiah Thomas than I was of.
Clearly not. You got rid of him, so.
Oh yeah, because it's my fault. It's my fault, Sam.
Obviously. You're the last remnant of the Danny Ainge era right now. Okay.
So. Oh my God, no. Oh my God. Moving on. We did talk about the Nets and the Lakers a little bit more in the beginning of the show, so I'm not going to harp too much on them. But why don't we just go right into this in saying, who do you think would win in a championship or in a game, the Nets or the Lakers with this updated roster? Sam?
That's tough. I mean, I really do like, which is really weird to say, I really like the Lakers bench more, in my opinion. I don't know. It just has a weird mix of players. I don't know if it would work, but like in my 2K team, I know it would for sure work. Like I just know I got the game plan for it. I mean, I think Kendrick Nunn, he turned down like $15 million to sign like a minimum contract with the Lakers. They got Malik Monk, who played with LaMelo. They got Rondo back, obviously not like a real asset, but a lot of these players, I think they're just like they're all old vets. The team is just old. We know that. I think the team is actually just an old team. Like they're like average age is like 32, 33. But I think with that experience and I think that composure, I find it really nice because at least compared to the Lakers roster before, I thought Kyle Kuzma was absolute garbage. I was like, this is like embarrassing. Like this guy should not play basketball. And he made the excuse like, oh, they didn't play me as a true power forward. I'm like, well, if you're in the NBA at this point, like you kind of just have to play any position, and you kind of just have to do it. Well, if LeBron tells you what to do, you do it. All right. LeBron will make you a better player. And if you don't follow, then you become like Caldwell Pope, and you know where he is, in DC, rotting with red. So, but I'm gonna pick Lakers. It'll be very close, but I think it would be a great match. I hope we actually get it in real life, but I have high doubts.
Yeah, I do think the Lakers are interesting, and I think it would be hilarious if they won this year, because it's just like a bunch of old dudes destroying like the rest of the league, and I think that's just really funny content. I personally am going to go with the Nets. Mm-hmm. I love Joe Harris off the bench. I love Patty Mills. I think this is a fantastic team. Griffin obviously was playing the fucking Pistons. Obviously he was just like, oh no, I don't know how to play basketball anymore. And then he goes to the Nets and he's just like dunking like crazy. You know what? If this team can stay healthy, if Kyrie, KD, and Harden can stay healthy, then I think they maybe not got it in the bag, but it's pretty close. I can no longer say that the team has it in the bag after these past 2 fucking years, because we thought that it was going to be the Lakers last year from the beginning of just the very beginning. And then we thought it was going to be the Nets halfway through, just because of this insane team. And then just two of the teams that we thought that we didn't even really imagine making it to the finals. I mean, I think we like, you can never count out Giannis, but like the Suns making it to the finals instead of the Lakers, that's insane. That's wild. So I don't know, but I've if I'm going to put my money on somebody, I think it would be on the Nets. Kevin?
Okay, I have some clarifying questions. Is this a game in the regular season, or is this a playoff series?
This is game 7.
Okay.
Yeah,
then,
game 7, baby.
I don't know. And are Kyrie, Katie, and Harden all healthy? If they are, I think Nets take it.
It's the best scenario.
Well, Kyrie is healthy. He just won't be at the game. We should make that clear. Like, he'll be healthy. He just won't be at the game.
No, dude, he will. He's just taking his time saging the entire arena.
If the Nets roster is healthy, I think Nets take it. But that being said, the Nets have a 7-man lineup. They have 2 players on that bench that we have listed on here that are remotely okay basketball players in Joe Harris and Patty Mills. The rest of them are
homeless. You can be honest.
Players.
They're homeless.
Yes, exactly.
They can't afford rent in Come on, let's be real. They can't afford rent in Brooklyn. Come on.
You could kind of make an argument for Paul Millsap, but I don't know.
This isn't like Paul Millsap from like years ago where he was a very, very solid player. I do think that he's a decent player. I just don't think that he's game changing in the slightest. Yeah. I don't think that he will make your team worse, is what I'm trying to say for Millsap. Yeah.
But that being said, I think the Lakers are gonna do what they did last year. They're gonna be abysmal in the regular season. They're gonna struggle to make it into the playoffs. I think truly.
That's cap. Stop it.
They're old. They don't care. They're not gonna try too hard, other than maybe AD and Westbrook, and that's about it. And then the bench guys. But then during the playoffs, they're gonna go ridiculously hard, ridiculously fast.
Okay.
Huge. Can you do the biggest sombrero possible on this man?
So let me say this, because I'm actually agreeing with Sam on this one, very much so. If that happens, Kevin, then they have not learned a single thing from last year. Because last year they did the exact same thing, and look what happened. Look what happened.
I don't think they're gonna learn, but I think they're gonna get in as an 8 or 7 seed again. And
so bad.
No, there's no. Okay, Kevin, look here. Let me list you the top 6 teams in the West: Utah, Phoenix, Denver, Clippers, Dallas, Portland. 2 teams for sure are not going to be in the top 6. That's Portland and the Clippers. They will not be.
Okay.
Kawhi Leonard's injured. There's no way he can make it. Warriors can probably fill up one of the top 6 spots.
Yeah.
And then it has to be the Lakers, right? Otherwise, you pick Memphis. I'm not picking New Orleans, but New Orleans sucks.
Then do you think they're going to be even a top 5 seed? Or
this is easily a 3 team. This is easily a 3 seed. There's no way you can. There's easily a 3 seed. What do you? Denver's
season? No way, dude. They're not gonna. No way.
Oh my god.
This is wild. This is wild.
Cardiac arrest from this statement. I have so much cardiac. You're saying the UK. We know the Utah Jazz are phonies, right? We know that's a complete.
Yeah. But regular season tryhards. They try so hard in the regular season.
I think Utah, Phoenix will be the same top 2. Denver, I think, might have to fall off. There's no Jamal Murray again. We don't have that again, and I don't know how.
Oh, seriously?
Jamal Murray, he's not coming back until at least after Christmas for sure. So
really,
yeah. Well, still, ACL, so I mean,
that still leaves half.
You're saying, okay, hold on. You're saying Dallas is gonna be better? No, stop it. You're saying Dallas is gonna be better than the Lakers?
No, I'm saying the Warriors are gonna be better than the Lakers.
I think the Warriors might be better than the Lakers.
And I think that depends on Clay. If Clay's really
That's true. No, for sure.
Depends on if Clay's Clay. But I think the Lakers just have competent players. I do think they're all I know they're all old, but I think they have such great knowledge of this game that they know how to finesse. They're just finessing. This year's purely just finesse. They're gonna complain. We're gonna see 3 billion complaints. They're gonna get their calls. We get that. I just think they have this like really lazy game, like the Carmelo like fadeaway thing. He'll make it. It's just like really like old school. It's gonna be such an old school team. I think is my opinion. But
Will be it. It will absolutely be an old school team.
Like,
My biggest question is, Kevin, now that Howard is now Dwight Howard is back on the Lakers, are you now a huge Dwight Howard fan again? Because if you guys don't remember, the first time that we started this show, Kevin was the biggest Dwight Howard hype man.
I think I
world.
said he was going to win Most Improved Player.
Yes.
That year.
it was doable.
Not quite. Yeah, I've learned my mistake. I'm not gonna put my hype on him. I even think DeAndre Jordan or Marc Gasol has potential to get the starting spot from him. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's rough. That's very rough. I will say, I think if we're looking at the West, I think the most interesting team to watch will be the Mavericks. Because we have no idea what I think they are.
Okay.
I think
in that case, we don't know. Okay.
Any team with Luka is going to be one of the most fun teams to watch, and I think they can do it. Last year in the playoffs, they proved it pretty well, and by they, I mean Luka proved it pretty well.
I'm hearing speculation. Matt come into the picture. He said any team with Luka. So we're saying Luka will not be a Mad for the rest of his career.
No,
that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Luka. You know what else starts with an L? The Lakers. That's what I'm hearing. The Luka Lakers. Think about that.
You want to know what else starts with an L? Losers.
Which is what Luka is right now.
Oh my God.
Get some L's.
You are playing with fire. John is going to come for your soul.
Hey, look, John even said that we're pretty sure he will not be a Dallas Maverick after his next contract. I don't think he will at all.
I don't think so. Unless they like sell, almost all the players for not bad players, then I can't imagine that Luka stays there. Or maybe I have no idea. I have no idea, man. Why don't we get into the new NBA 2K rankings? This was a very hot topic for Twitter anyway. We're going to go first with the top. You guys want to do top 5 or top 10 first?
Let's do top 5. Top 5.
All right, let's do top 5. We'll keep this one simple.
For the record, this is just revealed player ratings, so I think Kyrie isn't even on here.
That's
Kyrie or Westbrook. Yeah.
For the record, that's hilarious. For the record, that speaks volumes to me. So we've got number 1 is clearly going to be a four-way tie between LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and Stephen Curry. Sure. I don't think we have any kind of arguments to this.
I think Giannis should get one above. He should get a 97. All these guys are at 96. I think Giannis deserves a 97 after that playoff run and seeing what he did. Yeah, maybe he's not the best three-point shooter. Maybe he's not the best free throw shooter, but he is unreal when it comes to a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Giannis' performance is the greatest performance I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen any player play what he did. The man got 50 points in a closer. You don't do that. You're abnormal. You're a freak.
Last year, literally, the Bucks were just like Giannis was almost like choked a lot, like in the playoffs last year. And we were coming into this being like, is he going to do it again? He wasn't very good in the playoffs. And then he just like proved everybody wrong. So like huge props to the man, 2-time MVP. I will say this. I think the number 5 spot should not be Kawhi. And we're going to go, and I will explain that with the next 5 players. We're going to go top 10 now. So at number 6, we have Jokic, Embiid, Luka, Harden, and Lillard. So right now it's a tie, 2-way tie between Jokic and Embiid at 95. And then Luka, Harden, Lillard are all at 94. I kind of think that Luka should be at least a 95, at the very least. I think as clutch as he is, as incredible play as he has been doing, like the past 2 years, the fact that he was almost an MVP his rookie year is insane. And like, give Kawhi his props where it's due, because he is the entire Clippers team. Insert Paul George hate. But I do think that even these three players, Jokic, Embiid, and Luka, like, I think that Luka should at least be tied with Jokic and Embiid, somewhere in that range, a little bit further up. I don't think he's a number 8. I don't think he should be number 8. James Harden, sure. Yeah, okay. Damian Lillard's awesome. I think 94 is about right. I think his shooting is going to be off the charts, like always. If anything, these guys either should be increased or they're like kind of okay where they're at. Any complaints on the next 5 players?
I think it's a little disrespectful to James Harden. I think he got a little overshadowed being on the Nets, and so they kind of took his rank down a little bit. But I think 94 is a little low for him. If you're putting like Kawhi and Joel Embiid up at 95, I think Harden at least deserves a 95.
Okay. Sam, are you good with this next 5 players?
I think it's pretty fair. I also agree. I think James Harden. I mean, I feel like these 5 should just all be at 95. Like, I don't know how much, like, realistically game with. I don't know how much being one more higher would be like different. Like, in terms of like skill, like, I think they're all like on the same level. I think the top 5 is actually like there's a big difference still. I personally think, like, the first 5 are like there's a big enough gap to be like, okay, these guys are like legit.
Sure.
But yeah, I'd probably just bump up Harden, Lillard, just because I think. I mean, look at Lillard. Lillard's been 94, likes his like past like 5 2Ks. So I think they got to show him some respect at this point. But hey, maybe we'll be on a different team this time. We'll see.
Let's go to the next. So now we're at the top 15, and here is where I have beef. Here is where I have some huge beef. We've got Jason Tatum at 11, Zion Williamson at 12, Ice Trae at 13, Bradley Beal at 14, Rudy Gooby at 15. I don't think Rudy Gooby should be at number 15. I think he should be lower. Jason Tatum should not be a 90 overall. He should be at least 92. At least 92. This is bogus. This is some bogusness, man. Boys, do you have anything else that you would want to say? I think Bradley Beal should be at least maybe a 90 for the year that he's had. Ice Trae, maybe he should be bumped up a bit too, because he blew us all away in the playoffs. Sam, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, no, the last 5 is definitely cap. Like, I need I'm gonna go broke by ordering so many sombreros. Like, I'm on how much cap is this? I mean, yeah, Jason Tatum was a clear, like, that's just disrespectful at this point. Like, he played phenomenal with like having COVID. Like, I think he's actually on par with being 94 in my opinion at this point. I'm just saying, if you're gonna put Luka up there, I think Jason Tatum has almost the same skill set in that sense. I know there's like a different distinction in terms of how Luka plays, but in terms of caliber, I think like Jason Tatum's like they're basically on par. Like in terms of win like an MVP at this point. I think Zion should be much lower. I mean, I haven't seen enough to be like what this team is or what he is at this point. I definitely think Trae Young should be higher. I think he should be like a 91, 92 if we're gonna start moving people up. But and we know Rudy Gooby should be sent back to France. The lackluster defense, just absolute abominable at this point.
He's the number 1 French player in the world.
I hope so. There's like 3, so he's still gonna be number 2 because Tony Parker got how many rings? Was that? Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the 4 rings. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Rudy Gooby, you're only gonna be number 2. Know your place. But I'm still not mad about this list. I think there is like a overall rating should be bumped up for everyone. I think like 11 through 15 should be at least 90. I think that's fair. Like minimum should be 90.
Sure, I get that. Kevin?
I agree with Jason Tatum. He should be a little higher. I don't know if I consider him on the level of Luka, but at least in that 90s low 90s range of like 92 or so. Trey, I think, is good. Zion, I think, is a good rank at 89, but I think other people should be moved up, and he should still stay in that range. Like Trey Young, I think, could be a 90. Bradley Beal should definitely at least be 90. And then Rudy Gooby, get him out of here. Stop it. 88, stop it.
Can we just really quickly talk about how they do Bradley Beal so dirty? There was the first wash of, the All-Star game where he should have easily been in there, but he wasn't. And now they put him in the All-Stars just to have an 89 overall in 2K. Like, just bump him up one. Like, is it really that big of a deal? Like, honestly.
Can we just also say that Joe Ingles is the 26th best player in the NBA at this moment? That's like crazy, right? Like 28th, realistically counting Westbrook and Kyrie Irving, and maybe a couple of people missing, but they're showing him at 80 overall. That's like the 26th best player. That's a little much in my opinion.
See, here's where I have the biggest issue. It's with this next 5. This is the biggest issue that I have with Rudy Gooby being in the top 15. We've got 16 Chris Middleton. We've got Cat number 17, Zach LaVine at 18, 19 Domantas Sabonis, and 20 Jamal Murray. I kind of think that Rudy Gooby should at least be at 19, like lower than Sabonis. I don't like. He's like, it's kind of sucks with Jamal Murray because he's been out, like the entire year. So it's kind of like, yeah, like there's not much you can do there. But I'm looking at all of these names, and Rudy Gooby is not better than any of these guys, really. Zach LaVine, I think Zach LaVine is at a good number. It's kind of hard. He had such a crazy breakout year. I think the fact that they lowered him from 88 to 87 is kind of nonsense. Makes no sense to me because he had a way better year this year than he did last year, and he was an all-star this year. So it's just like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Sabonis, I think he's fine. I think Cat is fine. Chris Middleton, good for him. Went from an 85 to an 88. He had an incredible year. Sam, I'll go with you. What are you feeling about this?
So actually, those previous numbers are what they finished with in the previous generation game. So it's what the end. So they just put them one down just to know that, hey, you got to improve better. But I think Zach LaVine is actually. I think he should be higher than Cat at this point. I just haven't seen much from Cat in my opinion because I just don't watch Timberwolves basketball because I don't want to watch Timberwolves basketball for a reason. But I guess the counter question would be 3 major players that I obviously are on the list: Kyrie Irving, Russell Westbrook, and Donovan Mitchell, the co-star of the Jazz. Where would you put him in this top 20? Let's just say 20.
So
15. Let's go with Kyrie Irving first.
Kyrie is obviously at least I would probably put him in the top 10. I think that you guys might agree with that. Like top 10, top 12 even, I would say, would be fair. Donovan Mitchell, top 20. Because, if we're throwing Rudy Gooby under the bus, then somebody's got to replace him. Who was the third one, Sam, that you mentioned?
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I already said Donovan Mitchell. You had Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie, and Russ Westbrook. See, I think Russ is like an 85, 84. I don't think he should be in the top 20. And that might be a hot take to some people because a lot of people were really pissed off about his supposed ranking of 85. I think that might be one too high. He was playing extremely well towards the end of the year, but that does nothing. It continues to do nothing. But I guess for 2K, you're ranking the player. You're not really ranking the team and chemistry and whatnot. You're more so ranking the player. And I guess as a personal ranking, I still really don't see him that high because his shooting is so bad. But, because it's all efficiency or not even efficiency. It's just all like statistics at that point. When he has the ball like 3/4 of the time, he's probably going to get a triple-double. Like, that's just math. But I don't think he really deserves to be in the top 20.
Wow. Yeah, what's the average stats? I can send you a giant sombrero your way. Huge cat. Oh my god. Dude, an MVP caliber player who averaged another triple-double in a season again. No one done that. No one did that in history. That's crazy. I agree. Kevin, we did the stats project. Granted, I don't know how valid our project was back in college in terms of if triple-doubles get you dubs. I don't know. I just think that he's better than Bradley Beal. I think he's better than Bradley Beal easily. He was a better player on that Wizard team. That's fact. Don't say cap. No, it's no cap. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you that. I don't wear hats. Okay, I don't wear hats. So don't even try to put it on my head at this point. But yeah, Russell Westbrook easily top 15. I think so. He's 15. I'd say he's 15. Don't argue with me.
I don't see that. I see.
Oh,
if anything.
Prescription change. That's why. Go to the doctor. He'll tell you, be like, "Can you read this?" Oh, Russell Westbrook, 89 overall. Okay, there you go. Then you're good.
Hey, doctor, I'm coming down with some symptoms of some rare cats. What am I supposed to do about this? I need some prescription to help me with this. Kevin, how about you? So first off, Kevin, how do you see the 16 through 20, and where do you see the 3 players that Sam mentioned?
I think the 16 through 20 is okay. I think 2K just has an inherent bias to give like big men higher stats, which I don't think is fair because I think it takes more like skill. I'm not saying like, oh, all tall people are good at being center or whatever, like Shaq or Chuck or whoever said.
Chuck.
But
no, I think that was Harden.
Oh yeah, because he was talking about Giannis. But that being said, I do think 2K biases their stats to give big men like higher stats, even if they're not as good at like shooting or whatever. Like in the case of Rudy Gobert, he's 88 when he is very, very okay at a lot of stuff. And he like has a good percentage of field goals because he shoots from 2 feet away from the basket every time. Anyway. That being said, I think I'm kind of in between you guys with Westbrook at least. I think he is definitely top 20, no question. And if we move some of the bigger guys around, like Zion, like Rudy, like Cat, he's probably top 15 in that case. I think he's probably 87, 88. Overall, I'd say. So somewhere in that range, wherever that nets him out. Donovan Mitchell, I don't really care about Donovan Mitchell. I think he's overhyped, and I'm still yet to see
I like this guy.
Him really come out in the playoffs, especially. So I'm biased, and I think he's very okay. Still top 20, but like, I'm thinking like 18 to 20.
Okay.
Who was the other one? Kyrie? Oh,
yeah.
He's top 10 for sure. No question.
Yeah, that's not a hard one to that's really not a hard one to rank. I'm not going to go any further with the top 20 because I think that's fine. I don't think there's really anything else to discuss. But why don't we just go through like at least one of the players that you guys think should be a different ranking? Sam, I'll go with you first. Do you see any of like the players beyond 20 that you think should be a little bit higher or maybe even lower?
Well, I just want to give some quick love. Ricky Rubio still 78 overall. Okay, I see you, sir. I think overall it kind of makes sense. I mean, I'd love to see Spencer Dinwiddie finish 85 maybe by the end of the season. I know obviously he came back from ACL injury. I was texting Kevin earlier about Michael Porter being 84 overall. Kevin, how do you feel about that? What were your exact words on this text that you told me? I was like, thoughts on Michael Porter Jr.?
I think I called him a bitch. Is my
so
I don't know in what context, but I definitely called him a bitch.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I think Michael Porter, interesting ranking. I think it's pretty high. I think it's actually really high in my opinion. I think he should be a tad lower, but I think maybe with the playoffs, just with Jamal Murray being out, obviously he had to fill in the second person role in this team, and hopefully he improves. Maybe he'll still be a bitch to Kevin, but I don't blame him. At this point, so I think Michael Porter should be a little lower, but I won't be surprised if he finishes high in the season.
Kevin?
I mean, I kind of agree. Michael Porter should probably be a little lower. Not that he's bad. I mean, he might be a little bit of a bitch, but he's still pretty good.
Put that on a t-shirt.
That'll be the episode title. Hashtag or just quotations. Just that Michael Porter Jr. is a bitch. That'll just be the episode.
Ben Simmons maybe a little lower. But not a whole lot. I mean, he's still really good defensively. But also Drew Holiday, come on, he's got to be up a little bit. At least give him a 86 or 87. Come on. I don't know. You're gonna rank Rudy Gooby 3 or 4 points above Drew Holiday? Come on.
It's easy being tall. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah, tall people, man. It's crazy. I think, and don't. I'm not saying that LaMelo should be top 10, top 15, whatever. I'm saying that LaMelo Ball's rankings should be closer to Zion. I honestly do not think that LaMelo should be lower than Zion's ranking, whatever that might be. So whether you're taking Zion's 89 ranking and lowering it, and putting him near LaMelo, I think that makes a little bit more sense. But with the year that LaMelo had, I kind of think 84 is a little disrespectful. I'm not for that. I think he should definitely be higher. And I'm not, and don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that he should be maybe top 15 or something like that, or even top 20 for that matter. But I do think his rating should be a little bit higher than 84.
I guess it's an interesting question. So if you had to choose between LaMelo Ball, Jason Tatum, and Zion Williamson, who is more likely to win MVP out of those three? Just in general.
I think Tatum has proven way more than Zion has for one of MVP caliber player. Because he's an all-around player. He can shoot. He can go into the rim. He can play defense. He is a very talented player. As far as Zion goes, I think if he doesn't step it up this year, I'm a little nervous for him. This is not fantasy advice for you, Sam. You got your bounty on. John already has your bounty, so be prepared for that one. But Zion makes me a little bit nervous because of the shooting. It's strictly because of the shooting. He is an incredible player when he drives to the rim. People literally back away from him. He can take 1v3 if he wants to. That is incredible, to say the least. Mm-hmm. But as far as potential goes, that might be a little bit more, your ceiling might be lower. And for LaMelo, I think your ceiling is almost as high as it can be. I don't think we've seen, obviously we haven't seen the full potential of what he could be, but I think LaMelo's potential is a lot better than Zion's, personally. Yeah. We'll see. If they do point Zion, then we could just take this entire argument out the window, because I love point Zion. Let me tell you. That is so much fun to watch. It is great. Let me just watch this giant train go all the way down from fucking left to right. It'll be fantastic. That's where I'm at with it. All the other ones, Spencer Dinwiddie, I like where he's at right now. Give him the respect. He was a great player when he was playing, unfortunately, before the injury. Cade Cunningham, they had so much hype for this guy. 80 overall from the get-go. We'll see how well that pans out. Poor Steven Adams, lowering his ranking from oof. It's you know that somebody's getting old. And then Dennis Schroeder, I'm gonna say this for the meme. He should be 75. Specifically for not taking the deal that was offered to him.
That's bad. That's
That's
bad.
it. That's the only reason.
No, if the Lakers win because of that, that'd be phenomenal.
That would be hilarious. Like, I'm sorry, Schroeder, you fucked up. You fucked up real bad. And we all saw this happening. We all saw that happening. Anyway, this is the show. It's been a long time, guys. It's awesome to be back. We're going to be having season 3 coming soon. I can't believe it's been about 3 years that we've been doing this. That's kind of fucking wild. Not going to lie. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show, Deep 3 Podcast. You guys can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, as well as seeing our beautiful faces on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, show us to your friends and family. Maybe they will hate us too. Who knows? A lot of people do. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to the show, and peace out.
We're back.